What's up guys, ViperFPV here, and today we are reviewing the Emax Hawk Pro. I've actually had this quadcopter for a couple months now, and haven't really had a chance to do a review of it, so here we go. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over the bench, go over the little text and the specs of this quadcopter and what makes it all special, and then we're going to go ahead and go over for flight, and then I'll give you guys my thoughts at the end. So let's go ahead and get to the bench, and let's talk about it. Alright, so what you get in the box of the Emax Hawk Pro, and this should also probably apply to the sport version as well, just probably minus a couple extra little things that one comes with. So let's go ahead and slide this little cover off it comes with. And then here we go. So we got our little instruction manual here, little stickers. Also has a little instruction manual for the camera that it has on it. Does come with some extra canopies, which you probably will need because these are pretty stiff, but they are a little bendy. And then for this one, so the Sport won't come with these since it doesn't have those motors, but the Pro has the little lights that are on the underneath the motor, so those actually help change the color. It does come with a little antenna and some extra screws just in case you need those, and also looks like another mount for the camera as well. We do get some props. Let me pop those out. Looks like we got looks like two sets of props here. So we got our right and our left. I hate the fact that they never mark those Avon props. They're never marked as far as I can tell. I don't see an R or anything on them. Alright, so we got it all out of the box and everything like that. So let's go ahead and go over the specs of the Emax Hawk Pro. So right off the bat, the main difference between the Hawk Pro and the Sport is the motors. This one is using Emax's Pulsar motors, which are 2306 1700 kV motors. You can also pick from 2400 kV. I actually picked the 6S version, and the only difference is the kV of the motors. So this has the 1700 kV. You can also pick the 2400 kV as well. You also do have the Bind and Fly and the Plug and Flies. This one is a Bind and Fly with the FreeSky receiver. Is actually called the Emax Tiny Receiver, and it is the FreeSky protocol. But you can put a Crossfire receiver, which I intend to do. I intend to put a Crossfire receiver on this since I do use Crossfire. And also it does have now the weight of it without the battery and everything is 263 grams, which is pretty respectable for a racing drone because this is mainly for racing. You can freestyle it around if you want to. It does have the attachment on top where you can put a GoPro. And what we have for a flight controller down in this stack, let me see if I can kind of zoom in to all the electronics. So for the electronics we have on this quad, we have a 35 amp, 3 to 6S 32-bit ESC, and then and that's a 4-in-1. And you can see how this is really nice how they have the capacitors right here on the side, and they're really well protected, especially from like a battery hitting it, because it's not even with where the battery would go. And then the flight controller, it's just a F405 flight controller, so it's pretty much typical. It can run everything, newest firmwares of Betaflight as of this date. And then we also do have a 25 to 200 milliwatt receiver, and I believe it is smart audio capable. I will leave a note right down below if it isn't. I'll do some research on that because I don't see anything on it. And then we also have the Cadex Ratel FPV camera, which I haven't really had much experience with this camera, so I'm kind of interested to see how that performs once we take it out to the field and fly it around. It does come with an antenna. Comes with this linear antenna right here. Kind of looks kind of like one of those like whip antennas or like an Axie antenna, but smaller. But I doubt it's going to have the same performance, so this probably be something you might want to upgrade, or if you have some extra antennas laying around, circular-polarized antennas will probably do a lot better than this little generic antenna that it came with. Now, we do also have these motors here, so let me go ahead and talk about these motors real quick. So these are the Emax Pulsar motors. These ones are the 1700 kV version. You can get them up to 2400 kV, so since this is a 6S quad, it's going to have the lower kV motors on it, but if you wanted to do a 4S quad, it does have an option to come with the 2400 kV motors. Now, something really special about these motors is they actually have the lights on the bottom. Now, there's a little PCB board on the bottom with some LEDs, and as the motors get power and increase in intensity and RPM, they pretty much will get brighter and brighter and brighter. So it will coincide with whatever, if you're doing a roll, then, you know, one side, like the left side, will actually speed up so it can do the roll. So pretty much, yeah, so that's pretty much it for the specs of this. It does have this little, it's not 3D printed, it's actually injected molded plastic for the canopy. That's something that I'm kind of worried about because it does look like it is real stiff, so I'm pretty sure I'm probably going to crack it if it hit a tree or maybe even hit a gate real hard. So that's something I'm going to look out for when I'm flying this thing around, and definitely do some durability tests on it. But so yeah, so that should pretty much do it for the, you know, breakdown and the technical specs of the Emax Hawk Pro racing drone. So let's go ahead and bring it to the field and see how it performs. All right, so my final thoughts on the Emax Hawk Pro. I'm actually really enjoying the quadcopter personally. I'm actually going to be keeping it myself for my fleet. So that just tells you how much I actually really do like it. Now, the only caveats I have with it is the Caddx camera. I don't really care much for that camera at all. I just don't really care for Caddx cameras in general. So that's just my personal preference. And then also, the 2306 motors, I believe they should be bigger. It's like if they went with 2207 motors, I probably really like this quadcopter because I think it would stay up there and have that top end like my other ones do. Now the frame is really well built. I mean, the quadcopter is well built, tremendous, you know, throughout, and that's just Emax's reputation there. I mean, they build some really nice quadcopters. But I'll be leaving a link down to the Emax Hawk Pro down below, along with the Sport, because that's a little bit of a cheaper version, and it pretty much, well, I'm assuming, will perform the same way. That's it, really, for the quadcopter. But if you guys have any other questions, or if you're thinking about picking one up, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in a future video. Peace.